Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. It seems that concision, things that are concise, are seen as maybe not comprehensive enough. But when I look at what enables people to change, what makes them actually change, concision, starting with a simple quotation mark like, do random acts of kindness, probably do more encourage more behavior change than all the tomes that sit in dusty libraries. So with that as my core philosophy, I've had 6,000 career counseling clients. I'm obsessed my entire life in and out of work with trying to be effective myself and help others be effective. And so I wrote a little booklet, very little booklet. It's going to take me 10 minutes to read it to you roughly, called My Commandments, what I tell myself and others. And without further ado, number 1, take the next step forward. I asked my dad why he rarely talks about having been in the Holocaust death camps. He said, "Martin, the Nazis took 5 years from mein life. I won't give them 1 minute more. Don't look back. Always take the next step forward." Well, that advice has been most helpful to my clients and to me. Revisiting often leads to wallowing, to staying stuck. Learn from it and take the next step forward. Next commandment. Don't empty your mind. Fill it. Yeah, occasionally, meditating, deep breathing, vegging can yield insight, but more often, those minutes are better spent on learning or trying to solve a problem. So don't empty your mind, fill it. Next commandment. Be responsible. Most people are polite, and so they may not tell you they're disappointed in you or think less of you when you don't, for example, keep a promise. Apart from what others think, of course you want to be proud of yourself, and that includes fulfilling promises, being reliable and responsible. So be responsible, as cliched as that sounds. And preachy. I guess all these commandments are preachy. Next one, live simply. Life is unavoidably complicated today, from coping with traffic to dealing with insurance. Some people try to shop their way to contentment. For example, fancy house, closets stuffed with clothes, hassle-free vacations. You will derive more net pleasure by living simply. Low-maintenance housing, simple recreations, modest spending, index fund investing, time alone or with those who bring out the best in you. Also routines. Keep life simpler. Live simpler. You'll be happier. Next commandment. Don't overspend. Invest. Spending is instant gratification, while investing delays gratification. And so there are many people who choose one marshmallow now than two later. Yet, invest rather than overspend deserves to be one of my commandments, and here's why. The pleasure derived from overspending tends to be fleeting, and like a drug addict, the spendaholic needs a bigger and bigger spend to get spenders high. And the price paid for overspending is often big and multidimensional. For example, the materialistic lifestyle pressures many people into a career they like less than a career they would otherwise choose. For example, they go into sales rather than creative work. Well, we spend our best hours, indeed our best decades, at work. Choosing a less pleasant, less contributory career is a huge price to pay for a materialistic lifestyle. Also, people who are impressed by designer label addresses and cars and clothes tend to be shallow, not necessarily the people whose opinion we're wise to value. A high-priced lifestyle tempts people to cut ethical corners, to make their number. The materialistic lifestyle is complicated and stress-filled. It takes time and effort to buy, maintain, repair all that. Particularly ironic is that luxury cars like Mercedes and BMW and Porsche require more frequent and more expensive service than, for example, Toyotas, and are more prone to break down. There is nothing prestigious, let alone fun, about standing on the side of the road waiting for the tow truck to haul away your Luxmobile. All that money could have been used for investment, which, thanks to the miracle of compounding, tends to earn you serious money and in turn security and, purchasing power without your having to lift a finger. And that brings me to investing. I am not a licensed investment advisor, but many of them would enthusiastically agree with this advice. Routinize saving. Take a fixed amount out of each paycheck or self-employment income and invest it. You get extra benefit by first investing through your employer's retirement plan, like a 401k, 403b, or IRA, or self-employed IRA. That money gets invested tax-deferred with the earnings compounding. It is beyond the scope of this to discuss the range of investments, but many experts agree the following to be wise for many people. Choose the BlackRock LifePath Fund or Vanguard Life Strategy Fund that matches your risk tolerance. Then put the aforementioned automatic tax advantage contributions into that. For many people, that simple formula for spending and saving is a solid approach to living well, securely, and without undue complication. So that's don't overspend, invest. Next commandment, just fine-tune. Many efforts to radically change ourselves or others fail or cause more pain than they're worth. We may like to think we're infinitely malleable, but the fact is by the time we reach adulthood, we are heavily formed by our genes, our family, our peers, our schools, the colleges, and the media. Of course, we're not cast in stone, but it's usually wise to accept ourselves and other people or just fine-tune. Our best chance to help others fine-tune is to be tactful, of course. For example, would you mind if I shared something? If the person assents, be face-saving. For example, I'm wondering if you might be more effective in the world if you were a little more, or a little less, assertive. What do you think? What's one thing you should accept about yourself? You, even if it's a negative. What's one thing about yourself you should try to fine-tune? What's one negative thing about someone important to you that you should accept? And finally, what's one negative thing about someone important to you that you should encourage to fine-tune? So, that one is called just fine-tune. The next commandment is earn high self-esteem. Some people believe we deserve high self-esteem merely by virtue of being human. True, we have some value just because we exist, but we deserve high self-esteem mainly to the extent that we contribute. Legitimate self-esteem is earned. To help you assess how high your self-esteem deserves to be, rate yourself on these 3 questions. Give yourself 1 to 5 stars on each. Question 1. Net. How much do you help or hurt your sphere of influence? That refers to the people, events, and things over which you have some control. 1 to 5 stars. Question 2. Do you often consider another perspective when making decisions? 1 to 5 stars. And finally, question 3. Should you count anything else in assessing how much self-esteem you deserve? Again, 1 to 5 stars. As you review your answers to these 3 questions, is there at least one thing you want to do more of, less of, differently, or new that would earn you high self-esteem? Anyway, that commandment is earn high self-esteem. The next one is curate. We are in an egalitarian era. We are encouraged to not be judgmental, but rather to accept that all people, all cultures are of equal worth. But key to the life well lived is to wisely curate who and what you allow into your life. People? Among the people already in your life, which ones help you or you enjoy being with? Treat them well, even treasure them, and maybe spend more time with them. Are there people in your life who are the opposite? They drain you, make you lesser or feel bad. Should you reduce or even eliminate them from your life? If you would like to bring new quality people into your life, does anyone come to mind? Or where might you find such people? Online, at a meetup, a class, a friend of a friend? Things. We're talking about curation here. The miracle of the internet makes it easy to curate things. I particularly trust reviews by users because they're more like us than the paid expert reviewers. Of course, ratings can be misleading if based on only a few reviews, but with reviews ubiquitous, especially on sites such as Amazon, Google Reviews, and Yelp, most products and services have many reviews. Of course, be impressed by an average of 4.5 stars or higher, but you're not an average. To find if something is right for you, read at least the top few reviews. At least on Amazon, they are listed in order of how many other customers found the review useful. Being judgmental is now widely deemed a near epithet, but judgment, or if you prefer the softer terms discernment, assessment, evaluating, or curating, are core to the life well lived. So that's curate. Next commandment. Focus on what you can control. Being angry or depressed about a person or a state of affairs when you can't control those burns emotional gas. That's like pumping gas onto the ground. You need to retain enough gas to reach your destination. Focus on what you can control. Next one, stay busy. These days, gurus often urge us to slow down, even be still. I disagree. Advantages of being busy, staying busy. You're productive, whether it's housework, helping someone, or doing your job. You feel useful. You're distracted from your woes. You may be too busy to worry about them. Ways to get busier. What if you don't have enough to keep you busy? Do any of the following appeal? Work extra hours. Let's say you're a good manager. How about putting in that extra time on mentorship, prepping so your next meeting can be crisp, or figuring out how to deal with a problem employee who's difficult to terminate? How about moonlighting? As wrong as it may seem to pleasure-centric people, once you accept the primacy of productivity, you can feel good even about cleaning toilets. All work, even honorable work, maybe especially that which pays little and has low status, is worthy. Learn something, especially something practical. Is there some software you should learn? Leadership or parenting or something technical? Volunteer. What or who do you believe in? Should you volunteer to help that person or organization? Clean up. It's comforting and a bit productive to finally clean your place, or maybe just one room. Give away lots to goodwill, needy friends, or just put stuff out on the curb. Or other. You have an idea? Good. Your ideas are probably more likely to be on target and acted on than those by some counselor like me. But do stay busy. So that commandment is stay busy. Next one is be quick. Get in the habit of asking yourself, is there a quick yet reasonable way to do this? That mindset tends to be energizing, and being quick frees us to cross items off our to-do list and create more time for fun. What can fuel you to be more productive? Recognize that the life well lived is heavily defined by how much we produce and contribute. So aim to be quite productive most of the time, even each moment. In short, to fall to quick yet effective. That applies not just to work, but to daily activities, from cooking to deciding whether schlepping to that far-flung event is worth the opportunity cost, what you otherwise could do with the time. I have prioritized quickness in writing this booklet. I decided it was time effective to not do much research nor review my years of client records, but to share what's top of mind. That filtered in the important and made it faster both for me and for you. This is short, mercifully. Being quick can encourage hurrying, which does bring risk. But rather than ask you to follow basketball coach John Wooden's advice to be quick but don't hurry, be quick, and when you're hurrying, be a little more careful. So that's be quick. Next commandment, be happy now. That commandment may seem cliched or unrealistic, but the following advice may be particularly helpful because I am a bit sad by nature, and it's helped even me as well as some of my clients. Number one, if there's a problem you can do something about, resist procrastinating. Do what you reasonably can, and then try to stop worrying about it by distracting yourself with something positive. 2, ignore negatives you think are unlikely to improve. For example, if you dislike one of your partner's characteristics but have chosen to stay together, see if you can distract yourself from the negative by focusing on the positive in your partner or on something else. And that brings me to number 3. Savor the present. Try doing that now, even just to feel grateful you can read or watch this. If you're working, be grateful you can be productive, even if the work is mundane. If the task is too hard, see if there's an easier way to do it, if only to break it into baby steps, or ask for help. When you're doing simple things like walking, looking at a flower, or enjoying a cup of coffee or a favorite movie, realize that while those aren't earth-shattering, they're about as good as life gets, except for those fleeting moments of ecstasy. And finally, number 4, look ahead to the good. When you start to get worried, sad, or angry, think about what you're looking forward to. If you lack enough to look forward to, what enjoyable thing could you do 5 minutes from now, an hour from now, a week from now? So, okay, that's be happy now. Next commandment, be ethical. It's easier to preach ethics than to practice it, but ethics are so central to the life well lived that I choose to endure your eye rolling. Hopefully, the suggestion I'm about to offer will reduce your skepticism. Of course, it's difficult to be ethical when it's inexpedient, that is, when you'd benefit from doing an unethical thing. Being ethical is even more difficult when you're confident that you can get away with an unethical choice. So that's the situation I explain with 2 examples here, one in the professional realm, one in the personal. Let's say you're a salesperson or its non-profit equivalent, a fundraiser. You know that you'll have opportunities to withhold information that, if disclosed, could discourage the buyer, the product's weaknesses, or that the nonprofit is less efficient with donor dollars than the public statistics imply. Ask yourself how you, your customer, and competitors would benefit and be hurt from your doing the ethical thing. How would you feel about putting your head on the pillow that night? How would your family feel if they knew you made the ethical choice? And if you can think universally, what's the cosmically wise thing to do? Another example, personal one. Let's say you've agreed to be monogamous, but you could be tempted to cheat. In advance, before you're in the heat of the moment, ask yourself whether your partner, your would-be paramour, and you would be better and worse if you made the ethical choice. What would your family think? What would be cosmically just? Some people find it easier to be ethical by removing choice. It's non-negotiable. You will do the ethical thing. So let's be ethical. Next commandment, consider another perspective. For example, if you're conservative, it's easy to find liberal perspectives. Liberals have taken over most of society's mind share in the schools, colleges, media, even religious institutions. But if you're liberal, the wise person seeks those harder to find repositories of worthy conservative thoughts. For example, the Wall Street Journal's opinion pages, not the front pages. So that's consider another perspective. Next commandment, garden. Even if you live in an apartment and you can only grow houseplants, I recommend you garden. Benefits? Yeah, you see the miracles of growth in nature. Gardening is a break from our largely brain power-centric life. If you can garden outdoors, it's good and safe exercise. Well, here are some thoughts on how to garden for maximum pleasure with minimum hassle. Maybe the most rewarding thing you can grow outdoors is tomatoes, and in the winter, violas. You can grow them from seed, but if you want simplicity, get them as small plants at a nursery, supermarket, or big box store. Whether they're seeds or small plants, they are inexpensive. If you're limited to houseplants, try coleus. It's fast-growing and comes in surreal colors. Or try a phalaenopsis orchid. It's exotic, it blooms for a couple of months, and it reblooms in 6 months. Or try a compact, what they call parlor palm, which brings the tropics indoor. One more, the peace lily, glossy foliage, exotic white flowers. All of the plants I've mentioned are widely available. For outdoor plants, use a drip system that runs on a timer, and you can save additional time beyond that by using time-release fertilizer. If, like me, you are lucky to live in a frost-free climate, particularly rewarding plants include bougainvillea, bird of paradise, and my favorite, an orange tree. So that commandment is garden. Next one is live healthy. You don't need me to tell you to watch your weight, exercise, and avoid dangerous substances. But in the end, that ounce of prevention is what matters most. The problem is it's not easy to stay with all that. Might any of the following help? Regarding weight. Key to weight control is to stay alert at moments of truth, when you're starting to prepare food or go out to eat, starting to eat, and while eating, to remind yourself how good you'll feel if you're moderate. Try to stop eating before you feel stuffed, but don't aim for perfection. That's rarely sustainable. Aim to be moderate, and you'll be less likely to yo-yo and more likely to keep your weight reasonable. On exercise, try tying exercise to dinner, getting to eat only after you've exercised. Side benefit, exercising in the late afternoon or early evening gets you tired by bedtime. In contrast, if you exercise in the morning, you're more likely to be tired during the workday. Substances. Whether it's tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, or other mind-altering substance, is it time to substitute a less side-effect-ridden pleasure? Maybe screen watching, taking a walk, playing a sport, writing, painting, cooking, crafting, volunteering, or performing? If you spend time with a person who tempts you into ill-advised behavior, explain that you're trying to quit. Or should you see that person less, or even not at all? Anyway, so that's live healthy. The next commandment is rely mainly on yourself. True, you can trust some people even when it's inexpedient for them, but despite all the rhetoric about we, together, all in, we, not me, the community, many people are mainly about number one. Some of my clients and friends have worked hard for recognition and support, but received little. So it may be wise to rely mainly on yourself. Of course, at times we can count on others, but consider defaulting to being self-contained and to giving yourself praise rather than waiting for others to bestow it. If you get what you hope from others, fine. But if you are self-contained, your efficacy and self-esteem aren't dependent on others, and that is empowering. So that commandment is rely mainly on yourself. Next one is give for impact. Every battlefield medic knows to allocate limited resources not necessarily to the sickest, but to those most likely to improve. Similarly, in your charitable giving, give not to, quote, the least among us, which face barriers that may greatly reduce their chances of making a big difference. Conversely, don't give to the well-funded, where your dollars and time are mere grains of sand on a beach. Give to where your time and money will yield a significant difference. For example, rather than give to the symphony, a, quote, developing nation, dogs, or museums, you might support building a mentoring program for low-income gifted kids. So that one is give for impact. And finally, your commandment. Unfortunately, very few people change from watching a self-help thing like this. If it's a win, it's a win if you choose just one thing you want to do in light of having watched this. You might write it down right now. Now, how could you ritualize your change so it becomes part of your fabric? Here are some possibilities. Write it on a post-it on your computer monitor's frame. Tell your friends about it, maybe on social media. Say it aloud at moments of truth or even throughout the day until it becomes automatic. Maybe there's some other idea. Write your most promising approach now. In any event, in conclusion, I really would welcome your telling me whether any of these commandments have been helpful to you. You can simply write them as a comment below or email me at mnemko, mnemko@gmail.com. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 35 books. This little booklet, My Commandments, is available on Amazon really cheap because I really think it can be helpful and I want to get it into as many people's hands as possible. But all 35 are on Amazon. In any event, I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.